Are just 4 days away from the start of the new Premier League season and clubs are still scrambling to sign players. Spurs are in the market and we've got big developments which involves a Manchester City player. Also on the way, Rasmus Højlund is wanted by several clubs in Europe. Could he leave before the window closes? After having a window to forget, there's good news for Eddie Howe as Malik Chow heads to the UK ahead of a medical. And will Nicholas Jackson leave Chelsea this summer? He was left out of a pre-season game once again this weekend. Vulnerable defensively during yesterday's Community Shield against Crystal Palace, which Palace, of course, won for the first time. In fact, let's have a look at a post of Jamie Carragher on X, which sort of sets this up nicely. He says, LSC looking great going forward, but susceptible defensively, as we've seen all pre-season. A lot of the goals conceded have come from going man-to-man really aggressively and leaving space in behind. Today, Kerkez is getting dragged inside with Sarr leaving Gakpo chasing the wing-backs. This is interesting, this, isn't it, Kev? I mean, Liverpool, no doubt, have an unbelievable window in terms of attacking talent, incredible signings that they've made. But has that masked slightly that they are a little bit short at centre-back?
I think they absolutely are. I think it's crying out for depth in that area. We don't know what's happening with Ibrahima Konate because he's only got a year left on his deal. Virgil van Dijk is an imperious defender, even though he didn't play particularly well at Wembley against Palace, who I thought were excellent, by the way. So I think there are issues maybe that Jamie Carragher's alluding to about the balance of the team and about just the overall kind of defensive behaviour. But I do think it's crying out for another quality option at centre-back because Joe Gomez, who I like very much as a player, we know has a lot of injury problems, has had a lot of injury problems. So that's a concern. I know Arne Slot's alluded to, well, Wataru Endo can fill in there, players can fill in at centre-back. I don't think if Liverpool are serious about winning the big prizes, they want that. Look at PSG, they're bringing in Zabani. They've already got Pacho, they've already got Marquinhos. You have to do both. So, yes, amazing in terms of the attacking talent, but I think they have to bring in a centre-back and a really good one as well.
So here's the question for you, Dan. What should be the priority? Alexander Isak or a centre-back?
Well, I think for everything Kevin just said, I think centre-back and that defence will be the priority, only because as well, Jarell Quansah, of course, isn't at the club anymore after selling him in the summer. And with Konate's situation, you now do have to start forward planning. And I don't think we're telling the Liverpool recruitment team, with likes of Richard Hughes, anything they're not aware of already. But I'm sure they will be forward planning in terms of not just this season, but if Konate were to go on a free, out of contract next summer, what does their centre-back partnership look the season after? In terms of Virgil van Dijk's age, in terms of who is that starting defensive duo, not just for this season, but next as well. Isak would be an incredible signing if they were able to negotiate that with Newcastle. Of course they would. But clearly, again, Arne Slot, we're not telling him anything he doesn't know. He will want more depth in that position, especially when Liverpool are going to try and retain that Premier League title and go further, even further in the Champions League once again this season.
What are their options?
Great question. Of course, there was a lot of social media chat before the Community Shield yesterday around Marc Guehi, and Steve Parish alluded to that at Crystal Palace after the game. James Savundra spoke to him after as well, that with players like Marc Guehi, whether it's Liverpool or elsewhere, it will be incredibly difficult to keep him despite whichever European competition they play in this season. When he is out of contract next summer, Steve Parish will know better than any of us just how strong of an indication Guehi will sign an extension or not. So Palace may be forced to sell him this window, and Liverpool make a lot of sense.
I would certainly make a big bid for Guehi if I was Liverpool, because if the talk is around 40 million, I understand why that might be a bit hot for a player who's got a year left, but you have to think of what he's achieved. You have to think of what he's done with Palace. You have to think about the leadership. You have to think about the fact he's played for England at the top level. That's not a regular market opportunity, and you're bringing in a guy that has experience but also has a lot of years left to give you. So that feels like a huge opportunity for Liverpool. if they can do it. I'm sure they'll try and get that price down, as others have tried to do. But I think if the opportunity is there to bring in a player of that calibre and he's willing to make that move and compete with Konate and Van Dijk, absolutely that's something I think Liverpool should do.
Just one other thing from the Community Shield I want to ask you about was Ugo Ekitike, player that we've talked about loads in previous transfer windows, and it was the first proper look at him for a lot of English fans yesterday, and he really impressed, didn't he, in the first few minutes. Are you expecting him to have a pretty special season? And also, does that show that maybe they don't need Isak if they've got an Ekitike at peak form?
I think that's the luxury they have, in the sense that they knew Ekitike was somebody that could slot in, and yes, there might be a few teething troubles here and there, but I thought what was really encouraging was the link up with Florian Wirtz straight away. They linked up for the goal really early on. Wirtz picking up loads of pockets of space here, there and everywhere. You saw Ekitike's movement. You saw his finishing ability. I thought the goal was very, very well taken. The way he ghosted away from Richards and found the bottom corner. There was also a lovely touch in that first half as well. It was outrageous. But that's Ekitike. That's what he does. He's quite unusual. He's not that classic 9, but I think he's very exciting, and it underlines what I've thought about Liverpool for a while. It's about combinations with them. It's going to be about how do Wirtz and Gakpo and Ekitike and Salah, how do they all mesh? It's exciting stuff.
It is, and Frimpong had his moments as well in that game.
Great business over the summer. Are you happy with it?
Yes, of course we're happy with it. Otherwise we wouldn't have done it. But I think what people tend to forget is that we lost 4 starters as well. And that is for most Premier League teams not normal. Normally in Premier League, clubs only buy and never sell. But we've done both this summer.
Yeah. And 4 of your debut. Go on, Nelly, you go.
I was just going to say, how important was it for you to get the business done early? Because that's the one thing we've been speaking about. It's one thing getting the business done, but getting it done early.
Of course, that's ideally what you want, but it's also the most difficult thing. Because the window is open till the 1st of September. But that's the most ideal thing. But what had nothing to do with the window, but McAllister wasn't fit throughout the whole pre-season. Harvey Elliott came in late because he played at the Euros. So with Alisson being away to Brazil for private reasons, Virgil being sick last week, and now Ryan Gravenberch, who became a dad last night, there are some things that happened during the pre-season, but really happy that we could bring in Milos, Jeremy, Joji, and Florian. I don't think I forget anyone. Oh, Hugo a bit later, but so early in the window.
And the big question, we were talking about it before, do you expect more people to come in through the door? We're not necessarily talking about centre forwards, but particularly in the central defensive area. You know, Joe's injured, of course, Jarell's gone.
Yeah.
Would you like another body in there of some sort?
I think we have more than enough options that can play there. But as this club has always acted, if we see a chance in the market, we will not hesitate to take it. But as this club has always acted as well, if we buy in general, we also sell. Yeah. And that is maybe an exception for most Premier League teams, let's put it that way.